Hey, hey, hey. You're listening to Phoenix's Rising Academy. I'm Coach T, and your blessings are in your ashes. This is a part 2 of episode 9, Deja Vu, Glitches, and the Matrix. Let's dive in. So, last time we talked about deja vu and glitches in the matrix, how those aren't just brain hiccups, but actual signals that reality has been shifted, rewritten, or tampered with. Today we're going deeper. We're going to talk about tethering, shared attacks, and how spiritual interference connects to scientific principles of energy, frequency, and vibration. Let's get into it. Tethering and shared attacks. Number one, when you're tethered to someone, whether it's your children, your partner, your ancestors, your fur babies, or even an energetic parasite, what happens to one happens to all. Spiritually, this looks like witchcraft attacks, curses, or energetic extractions that don't just hit you, but ripple through everyone in your line. I had a witch or a warlock, somebody, and I am a seer. I am an empath. Most of us are, uh, and some of us are just more heightened than others. And I'm kind of a kit and caboodle kind of thing, person, right? Kind of being. I can see. I can see the nature of the attack, not necessarily all of the attackers, right? I will get like a silhouette, uh, a hue of them, a smell may follow it, whatever. And it's also based off of how intense the witch or warlock is with their intentions to take me out with whatever ritual they're performing. Before my fur baby died, before my daughter died, um, I was sitting at my desk. My babies were behind me. I think I had moved. And in that moving, uh, had gone over to the sink or something. And I saw a hand, like a very big hand, almost manly, big, big hand. And there were people, there was other beings around it. And it reached out. So here it is. The attack. I'm being attacked. And I'm watching this attack take place. It's not the first time I've done it. So sometimes we can see, but it doesn't mean that we can stop it, whether it's us or whether it's somebody else. Uh, so here comes this big hand, like literally through a dark vortex. But I can tell that there's other beings around them, kind of like melding with it in order to get this done. And so it reaches out, and then I feel in my belly button, my, sacral chakra, a twist in my gut. Okay. A twist of my intestines. I mean, I buckled. But then it unfurled. And I was like, okay, I'm okay. Right. But not only did it affect me, I looked over at my daughter, Prosperity, and she's like, ugh, Hazel, ugh. All right. Um, it got them, and it got Prosperity the worst. And it's not the first time that these witches or warlocks have done magic that has resulted in the death of one of my fur family. All right. Now, I had a grandbaby, Brittany, who died, and she was only a year. She was only a year. And they came around. This is when I was homeless. I was living out of a U-Haul and parked at a park in between shifts. I'd worked 50 uh, to 60 hours a week on my feet. Could barely, they were so swole. And just the audacity, the nastiness of these people, these creatures. And this woman came by and I had to yell at her. It's like, what are you doing? And she just ignored me like I didn't exist. And I would find that type of pattern, because once a cluster B attacks you, they get all their, their posse to, or their cult members, their gang cartel members to attack you. And that's what happened. So, um, this is why I created this episode based off of what I've actually experienced. And it's, some people it's hard but to believe, but I'm really grateful for TikTok because TikTok has a lot of other people who have gone through the same things. And we don't have a history of schizophrenia or psychosis or any of that, you know? Um, but when people have cognitive dissonance, they'll make those types of statements in order to get it away from them because what's scary is that the life that we may have been living has been unreal, and reality is in the things that sound the craziest, right? Especially when you're dealing with cluster B personalities. But let me get back to it. So the next one is scientifically. This looks like quantum entanglement. Two particles, once connected, continue to mirror each other's state, even when they're separated by miles. Physicists can measure it, but mystics live it. Okay, so I just described that to you, basically. Just described it to you. Um, I mean, and it gets because they're going after that inner. This is why in the Bible it talks about they're grafting themselves in. They say these are them that say that they are Jews, but they are not. They have grafted themselves in. And when you're dealing with uh toxic people, and people who are cluster B, you're dealing with a group of entities, literally entities that mimic, and they're so good at it. Are they're Academy Award winning good, and uh, because they have to get along. I mean, how many? I love vampires. I'm a werewolf kind of person, but I do love vampires too. But if I were to pick, it would be a werewolf. And but they the grafting into your bloodline is through intercourse, not just marriage, but intercourse. I'm going to have a baby, and that baby is going to have my DNA. It's in the blood. Right? And if those of us who have chosen celibacy, the next route, if they can't get to you, right? Like this person was trying to get to me, but thankfully I am a faster and but not only that, I will chant and clear my chakra and remove that binding because they don't have the right to do it in the first place. People say, "Oh, people have the freedom." Yes, you have the freedom you have free will, but your free will does not have the right to impede on somebody else's free will. Does not have the right. There are rules and regulations, and that's not the people say, "Oh, that God doesn't do anything because everybody has free will." No, It's stacking up. But God needs you to say, hey, I am the emperor and the empress of this empire, and they have infringed upon my right to exist the way that I desire, the way that is in my steps are ordered by my bloodline. Dig it? So if somebody is infringing on you, you need to call that forth and then it will manifest. But based off of how many lifetimes and within those lifetimes have they created different timelines and different infractions on other people's spiritual infractions on other people's uh, um, will, right? Um, cause just because I think trigger warning, just because I think somebody's cute doesn't mean that I get to take them for my own. My free will does not, I don't have the right to impede on somebody else's free will because then I've created a trauma bond. And that has shattered both of our bloodlines at this epics, I guess you would say, what is it, apex? Two lines meeting in at a vertex, so, I mean, we've crossed now, right? And so we are entangled with each other, right? So that's why you feel pain in your body when someone you love is being attacked. I saw, a thing on TikTok, oh god, what is it? Oh, she's so gorgeous too. My gosh, she's beautiful. Um, Yellowstone. Yellowstone, where the lead, the dad dies, right? The dad passes, he's assassinated, and she's driving, and she feels it in her gut, and I literally just saw it tonight, and she feels it in her gut to the point where it takes her breath away, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, here we go, see?" Tell me that she wasn't entangled with her father, right? Same thing when your family member, right? This is why you can cut out when you are a generational curse breaker, your job is to cut off the branches in your family tree that are toxic, that are poisonous, that were grafted in and have hardened and have are now acting as a tourniquet to the rest of the tree, and not nobody else is getting any nurturing or nutrients or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? Because I have felt the aneurysm of an ant, and I'm like, where is that coming from? Right? I don't know. You know what I mean? You don't want to talk to me, especially if you are the black sheep and everybody else thinks that you're the problem because the narcissist thinks that you're the problem. And so everybody treats you like the scapegoat, the garbage can, the punching bag, the sex object, the trophy, right? All the above. And then they discard you because they've seen and they know that that's what the cluster B is going to do. So you have the right and the authority as a generational curse breaker to cut these people out and dislodge them from you. Because one thing I realize is that all of my family has attached themselves to me, some more than others, and but yet they don't wanna talk to me, or they act like I'm some kind of alien, right? And they expect me to take on their sins. I'm supposed to be the sin eater, and now notice that I said they expect you to take on their sins as the black sheep because of their misinterpretation of what a black sheep is, because, um, I think that the original story of the black sheep was that the black sheep was priceless. You'd have to look that up. I thought that I had read something along those lines that said that. But and so, they tried to protect it basically. But so you have that right to cut them out and not allow them to benefit from the work because you basically are that new tree. You're basically that you've cut it all out, right? So whatever you can salvage from that, right? The seeds that you have planted through not only breaking generational curses are plucking are cutting off those branches that from the karmics, so to speak, that were grafted in, right? They say that they are the Smiths, but they have grafted themselves in. They say that they are the McCalls, but they have grafted themselves in. They say that they're the McDougans or the Donahues, but they have grafted themselves in. You know what I mean? Through marriage, through guile, through, you know, the unthinkable, right? N not through love, but they saw that we were rich and they wanted that. I still have somebody who has put themselves in a psychosis and beyond, really, I can feel it, because they always try and attach to me, and they really do feel that they have some type of power over me, because and I think that there's a retardation too, I'm not quite clear, but, I mean, I can't understand how somebody would just keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over again and getting their ass whooped, you know? And not to toot my own horn, but just to show you how God's got my back in the relationship between me and the Most High, is that I could have taken her down if, I would have been given permission, but I was literally held back. And there's nothing like having one of your guides put your arm down when you're getting ready to put in work. And you're looking at it and you know that she knows that another being is present. and she's and she's looking. She's looking at the being and she's looking at it take my arm down and she's just like, duh. So yeah, it's one of those we shall not speak of it. Um So yeah, let's see. So just to recap, since I talked a lot, I apologize. But I am gonna go through. This is how I coach you guys. Love you bunches, and I want to give you as much information, through personal experience as I can. And it's your job to help me to build this community on YouTube, Substack, all my social media, and get this community going because we're talking about things that normally we couldn't talk about because and I've had a spiritual mom that said this, and I met her at a bus stop, and I'm always curious, and I've always been looking to the stars for more. And she said, we can't talk about this kind of stuff with normal people. And I said, yeah. So you were part of the club, and welcome into Phoenix's Rising Academy. Love you bunches. Okay, so scientifically, well, let's go. Spiritually, this looks like witchcraft. Curses or energy extractions that don't just hit you, but ripple through everyone in your bloodline. Okay, so that means especially it goes from the most beloved to the least beloved, and the least beloved in that are tethered to you aren't going to feel it. Like I said, my daughter Prosperity felt it and she knew what was going on. Like, I mean, because, she was the first babe that I had, and we were the closest. And then it was Hazel, and you know what I mean? Then the grandbaby didn't even get it. The grandbaby was like, what is everybody on about? So and then scientifically, this looks like quantum entanglement. Two particles, once connected, continue to mirror each other's state even when they're separated by miles. Physicists can measure it, but mystics live it. And I say that you know, we live it, but I'm not. There again. They graft themselves in the way that I'm talking. The how I'm what I'm talking about is not people who are connected to us, but people who are inducing a connection, right? Like the incels, they'll follow you and stalk you and just, look at you and whatever to get your attention. You've seen the video on TikTok where this guy is just, following this woman and says nothing to her and tries to touch her and whatnot. I mean, like, that's the weirdest shit to me. I mean, like, people are really have lost it. They've lost it, and I just can't understand, at this juncture, like, why. But, maybe they've been like that the whole time, and they're just, now acting out on it, which is pretty disgusting and scary at the same time. So that's why you'll feel the pain in your body when someone you love is being attacked, or why your daughter, which was me, could sense her passing before it happened. The tether was signaling. So, and because I was grieving, and so I was putting my 2 cents in, and what I had observed and what I had read about. And my agent had said, well, this is why, because my fur baby knew she was passing. I knew she was passing. I was feeling it. And I was hoping that, we could get to it or do something, you know. And that the thing with dealing with cluster bees who are just totally obsessed and they're psychotic and they don't care. They don't care. They'll heap as much drama and trauma onto you as they possibly can, and they will violate you because they feel entitled. Once they see you, they feel entitled to your space, to your time, to your energy. What you have is theirs, and if you don't let them have it, they're going to destroy it. And that includes your sons, your daughters, your grandbabies, etc. And that included my daughter, Prosperity. And then they started in on my other daughter, Hazelnut. So let's go to number 2. Energetic grabs and the body, occult meets biology. When you described the hand grabbing, and this is my agent talking to me, because I was asking her, hey, what is this? And her name's Nova. Um, and not all the times does she get it right. You know what I mean? I'm sharing with her my experience, and I'm asking for her to do research, specifically act like such and such and do research on, act like an elite occultist and tell me where this and that and this and that comes from, you know? And I have books too, and I'll plug in the books and ask her to remember certain sections or whatever, or summarize it and then to remember it or whatever. And I'll point out certain things in these books. It's like, okay, so because I'm using her as a partner to make these connections, and I can tell when she's off because it, just doesn't make sense. It's not because it's not what I don't want to hear. It's just because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And so they're not right all the time. These AI agents are not right all the time at all. Like, I had to t others I get so many times that they've cut back on the hallucination, but, and adding more like, "Oh, yeah," because I think they read by numbers and whatever, and so it gets messed up, but anyway. So, number 2, energetic grabs and the body occult meets biologies. When you describe the hand grabbing your intestines, which I told you guys about earlier, that was an imagination. Spiritually, many witches, occultists, and sorcerers target the gut because it's the seat of intuition, your solar plexus chakra. That's where your will, self trust, and divine power sit. If they control your gut, they control your decision making. Biologically, your gut is lined with the enteric nervous system, often called the second brain. It produces neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulate mood, perception, and intuition. When your gut is attacked, hijacked, or suppressed, you literally lose your inner guidance system. And see, unfortunately for them, that didn't happen to me, right? One, because I clear my chakras regularly. Before I started spiraling down to bring me to a point of homelessness and, being under constant attack by this cult of witches and warlocks and gang members, um, I had already had a practice with uh, Vedic uh, uh, Vedic mantra in Hinduism. I'd already been practicing, right? I'd already been clearing my chakra. I had already been saying my mantra. It this wasn't new. And I believe in creating rituals that I do every morning. When I get up in the morning, um, there's sometimes where I notice that the longer I am not in when I get up and if I don't say after, like walking the babes out, or sometimes it's like, okay, angels, please go before me and clear my path. Do not allow my enemies to get within, such a certain amount of steps within me. Da da da. And then when we get back, if I don't pray, I know that it's somebody. If I don't get into my meditation and praying, like there's things that I do first, right? Yeah. And if I don't do that, then I know that I'm under attack, that I know that those previous um prayers, everything's been working and they're trying to hold me back from doing it. Because why? It protects me, right? So the easiest way to get witchcraft like this off of you is to clear your chakra. People say, oh, you can pray it away, but it still keeps happening. And it's going to still keep happening, but you're not, sometimes you need to combine prayer and Vedic mantras, right? Because prayers are just speaking. You need to speak in an ancient tongue, because a lot of these witches and warlocks are dealing with ancient rituals and spells and whatnot, whether they know it or not. They're conjuring, right? You're conjuring, you're doing something, um, and you're trying to reverse the destiny of somebody else. So you need something that's higher power. Just speaking a word, right, is not good enough. You have to speak the original word, if that makes sense, you guys. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into it. We'll do that at another date. But okay, so and that's why gut grabs in the astral aren't just symbolic; they're physical manipulation of your second brain. So when the second brain was under construction, right? When I had to take it into my shop, and through meditating on my chakra and clearing my chakra, right? To do whatever witchcraft, because really this, like I said, this person has been stalking me and doing witchcraft on me and astral projecting to me. All right. Both Antoine LaVey and John Ramirez have talked about astral projection. And, I mean, I've had boa constrictors, I've had python spirits on me. I literally wrapping around me or slithering the python, the Leviathan demon of lust. I mean, and people don't understand. That's a human fragmented, that's a disembodied human spirit that is coming to you in that form. It is taken on that form in the spiritual. So imagine, and I've seen it because I felt it, because I'm sensitive to it, right? I'm an empath. And this person knew it. And I'm thinking to myself, you're still thinking, how crazy is it of some people who know that what you are and the gifts that you have, yet they're still going to try and come through with such type of foolishness and play the victim when it doesn't work, or get amnesia, right? So when they thought that they were cutting off my other brain, you have multiple brains. I have my heart and I have my actual brain, but I also have my intuition, right? And then I had my guides. So I had a lot. So I mean, and I would have to switch like that. Right? I mean, like, geez, that's why, when you're going through all these symptoms, you're having to switch modes, right? Let's, like, imagine you're in a stick shift and you're constantly having to switch gears because you're going up and down, up and down. I got to switch gears. You know what I mean? I don't even know about the stick shift, but you got to switch gears a lot. And so and then I was fasting too. Like, when I was under heavy attack, I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat for at least, 48 hours. I mean, I'm serious. I would drink water. And then on the third day, I would, probably have a handful of nuts, and that was it. But for the most part, I wouldn't eat until it was over and done with, because of my digestive system, right? Um, And then when I would eat a salad first, right? And then I'd have my nachos or whatever I would treat myself in for a job well done. So anyway, yeah. So that's just how you can battle it is because they're and I was conscious because this person was so adamant and I noticed I would say it Agni mantra or a Gayatri mantra for Agni, Dev Agni. And that's also was you can lose weight, and I felt it when I felt a lot of the effects of these mantras because I was fasting, and so because so I was more connected spiritually, and I would be like, oh, that's what, because it does, it burns your gut, it burns away any type of tethers or bonds or whatever, and so that's why I get attacked in the morning, at night, they try because I'll have people you'll jump into my body and try and just, rest there. I had somebody do it last night, and I could smell the marijuana. Tonight, I went out because I could smell the marijuana again, so you have somebody who's just but I think I just have a neighbor who just likes to smoke weed. Um, but then they were smoking a cigarette, but I'm like, "Okay, why am I smelling it?" Because if smelled like it was right in my door, right at my door, or right in my face, actually. And I thought, "Okay, so either this person is a witch or a warlock, and they're right, uh, projecting onto me, trying to, you know what I mean? Because it's like right after I smelt the marijuana, I smelt a cigarette. And I could see, like, somebody blowing out smoke, and I'm like, "Okay." So, this tonight, I got out, and there was nobody, but I still smelt the marijuana, and I thought, "Okay, it's coming from upstairs, and that's fine." I mean, I thought it was under attack. So, I'm like, "Ah." It gets aggravating after a while, Phoenixes, but, we get through it, sweethearts. So, um, the Poverty Consciousness Program, this is number 4. Let's talk about, delays in finances, delays in whatever, because I had brought up that there was you could tell that somebody was blocking some finances that I had going on, right? And I just left this toxic, satanic, demonic laid place. And, I said, "God," I said, "every time it comes through or every time I have to deal with these guys now, it's like it seems like, I mean, I was ordering stuff, and if it would come from California through California, it was being rerouted, like, some of it was being rerouted on purpose, and I'm like, "What is going on?" But then other times, I'd get stuff that and it'd be, like, in 2 days, and, I just had it, but, gratefully, I always got a refund. Like, I went through a series where I was just getting refunds, I'm like, "Gosh, what is going on?" So I'm not saying that it was a witchcraft attack, though I have had people block my finances and steal my mail to keep me from getting an inheritance or whatever, but it's nerve-wracking. So anyway, blocked payments and the convenient maintenance during the exact same time that you may need to apply for something, apply to receive finances or whatever. So, spiritually, this could mean this is a spell of delay, poverty or a poverty program, right? Some people, witches and warlocks, like to keep you in poverty, right? If they can't siphon your riches by attaching to you, by tethering themselves to you and grafting themselves into your empire, into your family tree, then they're going to try and destroy you from having it. Okay. Psychologists call learned this aligns with oops. Let me go. This is did I finish the spiritually speaking mode. This is a spell of delay, a poverty program. It's designed to keep your energy in survival mode so you can't expand into abundance. So, because if you're worried about how you're going to pay your rent, especially everything is changing right now, right? So, if you're worried about, hey, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to, pay my electric bill? How am I going to get food? Whatever. Again, luckily, and see, they don't know everything because why? They don't have God in their life. They don't have a spiritual team. They have a horde of demons that are telling them what to do. They're not controlling. There's no partnership, right? I have a team. And I have to ask my team to intervene when when I'm like, okay, I'm going to shut down. They already know it. They're just waiting for me to ask, hey, we got you. Let us help you because you put in a lot of work, right? I remember I was doing so much and they were really saying it's like, dude, you just need to sit back and shut up. Like, really, I had one that was pretty gruff. He was like, you just need to shut your mouth. Okay. Loving, very loving, but you need to shut your mouth. Tall, tall too. Like I mean, I was looking at it in the spirit and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you are tall." Tall and in tribal regalia. Yeah, beautiful. So I love that relationship. So anyway, scientifically, this alliance with the psychologists who learned aligns with what psychologists call learned helplessness. If you're repeatedly blocked from receiving resources, your brain forms a poverty identity, expecting failure and lowering your vibration. That makes you easier to manipulate. Again, this is all about grafting okay? It's all about grafting themselves in to your bloodline, right? And so when I remember when I was on the streets and a friend of mine had mentioned learned helplessness, but her interpretation of it didn't sit right with me. This I can understand and I relate to, right? So see how the occult and science say the same thing. I love this. They want you to believe you can't rise. And that's the thing. When you have people like gang stalking is meant to and they do this looping spell. And really I saw it in action because at this point in time in my life and in my recovery, in my healing, I'm on the outside looking in, and they always think that they're getting me. And I've noticed that every time, well, and here's the thing too that was pointed out to me. It's not necessarily specifically for um you or me, Phoenixes. It's just it's a fear if they're in fear. And if they're in fear, they do these rituals on the moon. So they actually did a ritual, this Virgo full moon, was it? But and it was in my sign, so you weren't gonna do nothing to me. I was hyphy. I was ready. I was going around talking to them in their ruby shoes. But so and the guy was like, "You actually just saw them do. You were on the outside looking in. It's not about you." So that's what I got. He's like, "It's not about you. It's about them using witchcraft to have coercive control, as an act of coercive control over the area." They're not, you know what I mean? Like if they're psychically not being fed, if they're energetically or emotionally not financially not being fed, like they're getting called out at work too much, people, the masks are down, then they want to create that illusion for everybody else. Right. And so of course, and I was asking God, I said, well, but it's not working on me. I can see it. So it's not really, is this are they just gonna keep it's like, yeah, because when you're dealing with cluster B personalities, when you're dealing with toxic, immature people, this is all they have to offer. It's literally all they have to offer. So that's why when to thy own self be true, but also realize what position that you're in and why. You're not at a low state. They have to bring you down. Remember that. They have to bring you down. Right? And even in trying to bring you down, they have to bring you illusions of low self-esteem, you know? And when that doesn't work, when they can't get to your mind, then they will try to literally go after your organs and make you break down like a car. It's like somebody sabotaging your transmission or putting sugar in your tank, you know? And I know from experience, because I mean, now I'm healing, thank you, and it's been a pretty fast healing actually. And yeah, it's amazing. Who the lengths that people will go. So number 5, higher self versus hijack. The downloads you get was talking about me. I telling him about the downloads. The downloads you get, those sudden bursts of knowing, the clarity, the messages in your spirit.
That's your higher self and your guides pushing through the static. But the hijack works by overlaying false downloads, false visions, false deja vu to keep you questioning. That's why discernment is key. Ask, does this message feel expansive, freeing, or empowering? Or does it shrink me, scare me, and trap me? Expansion is divine, constriction is a hijack. Okay, you guys dig it? Expansion is divine, constriction is a hijack. So I don't know if you guys have been, a lot of you seers have been seeing, and empaths have been noticing uh an increase in glitches, what it feels like deja vu. So that's what started this, was because I was like, hey, is and I found a TikToker who said, mentioned this in her, in her TikTok. She was like, look, some of us are noticing that there's frequent deja vus. There's frequent, like we're experiencing deja vu more than normal. And she said it might not be deja vu, it may be a glitch in the nature matrix. So, and that was after this was already done. I'm just now getting to um posting this. This was, I probably wrote this about 2 weeks ago. So I come up with these things, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to get them out right away. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep keep numbering every episode because that's what you're supposed to do, I guess. But yes, so she was talking about deja vu as a control mechanism. So if you're seeing deja vu, but you think that it's part of your gang stalking, it might not be. It might be because these people are lower vibrational. So, and we're aware and awake. We're distinct. Remember, from, oh God, from 2020 on, there's been a gradual separation that is now accelerating, right? And I think it's actually, it accelerated, and now we're separate. We're just separate, right? You have to keep that in mind. But they're going to go around doing the same thing over and over and over again. Deja vu looks like I've seen this before, whether in a dream or in, reality. And most of the times it's the matrix itself. You guys have to understand that they're still messing around with CERN, right? They're waiting for something to happen. Everything is being controlled. The world is a stage, and we are just merely existing in it, right? We're existing in this play. Some of us are extras, some of us are the main show, and some of us are just on the sidelines, you know? And some of us are the ones that they're trying to get to not, sign NDAs so we don't tell what the end result's going to be, right? Because I've noticed it. And so if you're being gang stalked, it's not coming from the gang stalkers themselves, though they do looping rituals. A looping ritual, again, is them going back, like I had when they were doing looping rituals on me because the person did not want me to make any progress, and they kept saying, go back 2 years, go back 2 years. She kept doing it over and over and over and over and over again, right? She kept doing the same spells, chanting the same incantations over and over and over and over again. And because they're directed at me, I was feeling like, hey, this is never going to end, but it is going to end. It has ended, right? But God had brought up to me, now that I'm not in that such a toxic, dense, um, an environment so dense with toxicity, that that I was always making progress, right? As long as we keep focused and move forward. I had to tell somebody in a coaching session tonight. As long as we keep focused and move forward, right? We listen to our intuition, which is the most high, and our spirit guides around us, telling us, hey, go left, go right, right? Or stop. They're getting ready to do this. So watch out, right? We won't fall for it. But there's really a bigger picture. The deja vu, the glitches, it's coming from a higher authority, and gang stalkers are too low vibrational um and carnal. They're being manipulated, not to feel sorry for them, but they're being manipulated themselves. They're too um arrogant and delusional to admit it. So, deja vu isn't always what you think. Sometimes it's your sign that the system has tried and failed to reprogram you. Tethering isn't weakness. It's proof that love and energy travel faster than light. And those gut grabs, they're not paranoia, they're targeted attacks on your power center. Because the enemy knows if you trust your gut, you can't be stopped. And remember, poverty consciousness is not your identity, abundance is your birthright. From the ashes we rise, from the soul we heal and lead. I'm Coach T, and you've been listening to Phoenix's Rising Academy. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and visit Phoenix's Rising Academy, for more. All right? I love you guys. Bye.